well, what is like when we say I want, you can be still, and it's interesting because I can just feel the certain eroticness there hovering around
this kind of impulse.
Suddenly it's like, like you say, just stop.
Uh-huh.
But the slogan is just do it.
That's right. That's right. Just do it. And then you learn, some kind of spiritual jargon or some ways of getting around it. But I'm not doing it, it's just happening. Or, it did it, I didn't do it. Or I'm awake, so it doesn't matter what I do. I'm awake, and if I do it, it means it's holy. I mean, it goes on and on. So the invitation is to really, it's not a matter of doing it or not doing it, really. But the invitation is the invitation to experience this impulse of the addiction, which is primarily an addiction to pleasure, but is also wrapped up into that, is the addiction to suffering. So it's to experience both the desire for this pleasure object, which, even though you may know intellectually very well, will lead you down this same old path, there is a kind of infatuation and attachment to it. So there's energy there, there's power there. So the invitation is to experience all that. And I'm shaking because it can be like a shaking, because everything is saying, just do it. So the willingness to not go numb or dissociative in that, because that's also another power, and it can be learned, but to experience it as this burning.
The bonfire.
A bonfire, the bonfire of the vanity. Really, because it is a vanity, because it's for me. So I want to be really clear here, because I'm not saying you should do this if you have a desire. That's not what I'm saying. Because there's certain desires that are totally harmless. You have a desire to eat, eat. You have a desire to rest, rest. You have a desire to speak, speak. But if you have a desire to eat and it is neurotic and it causes painful, or your desire to rest is neurotic and causes pain, and your desire to eat or speak is neurotic and causes pain, or your desire to have sex, or your desire to be powerful, or your desire to get enlightened, if it's this pleasure, suffering desire, there is a possibility to stop. And what's required in that stopping is this willingness to burn in this impulse that says, go. Go now. With all of the very sophisticated justifications of why it's perfectly okay. This time, again, one more time, last time, to go. Yeah. So go, as you did, so go. But watch, tell the truth. Consciously go this time. Consciously choose it so you can tell the truth, so you at least don't have that level of justification to fall back on. So you bust yourself. And this is, a lot of people say, well, don't want to do that, because you want to have this little out. If it gets too intense, I'll go. I'll just do it. But if you don't give yourself that out, if you don't give yourself that exit, that's a kind of crucifixion, where there is this willingness to, okay, if it kills me, I am not going to move in this moment. And it is a crucifixion. It's what the crucifixion points to. I am not moving. And even if I scream, why is God doing this to me? I'm not moving. And in that, there is the discovery of the resurrection, the redemption, the peace that is inherent. And with that discovery, naturally, then this bondage to this addictive habit is at least weakened. The link is weakened. Maybe it's cut totally. But assume it's just weakened. It's more skillful. Assume it's weakened. But then the next time it arises, there is this, then there's choice here. You know that you are not run by your impulses or instincts either, no matter how strong they may be and appropriate in certain cases or times, stages of life. But when you're speaking of freedom, when you're speaking of stopping the search, then there has to be this willingness to face what it is you are running from in your search. And in general, you're running from some pain. And really, it's usually some infantile pain that couldn't be met or wasn't met. And it's psychological, and it has physical components, and it has a story, or not. Could be just energy. When I met Papaji, and he said, stop, it's like I could hear all the reasons not to stop. Well, first of all, who is he telling me to stop? You know, if I stop, what if he takes over my mind? What if something bad happens to me? I mean, it's not safe to be innocent. It's not safe to not think and figure it out and go for what's safe and avoid what's unsafe. So, of course, that's all has its place. You know, I'm not saying stop in the middle of the street. Obviously, go across the street. This is obvious. But we then take that and put it all the way through into our psyche, into all of our psychological dilemmas. But why not investigate it? And that's what his invitation to me was. Investigate this for yourself. Not stop because it's the good thing, the holy thing, the right thing, the enlightened thing. It's not. It's none of those. It's just what has never been done. So there's at least in that moment some freshness, some innocence, and some recognition of the power of the potential of simply being. Simply being. Not getting the pleasure, not keeping the pain away, not getting another day of life, not avoiding death. Just being in this moment, in this instant. And it's beautiful. And it's the doorway. It's the same doorway. It's the same gateway. Because there's something that is transmitted in that moment that reverberates potentially deeper and deeper for the rest of the life of this body. So that your mind is not preoccupied with justifying, grasping pleasure or avoiding pain. Doesn't mean you don't grasp pleasure and avoid pain. You may or you may not. It may be appropriate to avoid pain. There's nothing wrong with taking pain medication. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good time. But that you aren't bound to it. And when that much of your attention is freed, that's a lot. It's a lot of attention that's freed, that's available for real questioning, that's taken off that kind of habitual cycling that you were speaking of.